Good morning. My name is Don Michaelman, and I want to welcome you to the December 12th, 2024 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. If you could check your phones and make sure they're on silent or off, would appreciate it there. Would like to have the commission members introduce themselves, and we'll start with Tom.
Hi, good morning. Tom Davis.
Good morning, Jim Whiting.
Good morning, Tom Riley.
Good morning, Tom Hutchison.
Good morning, Susan Graham.
Good morning. I'm late. Jim Klazuski. Merry Christmas.
This is an open meeting, public meeting, and is being videotaped by the city. The proceedings are being televised by representatives of the public media. The public and local cable and/or radio stations may also rebroadcast. The number of commission members present is 7. It will require a majority vote of those present to pass a motion. Members of the public, when called upon, are required to state their name and address for the record so that we may know who is speaking and be able to contact them at a later date if necessary. First item on the agenda. Oops, do we have any council members here? I don't. Nope. Okay. First item on the agenda is the minutes of the November 14th Planning and Zoning meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If no correction, is there a motion concerning the minutes?
Move to approve. Tom Riley.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Susan Graham, I'll second.
We have a motion to approve and second. Any further discussion? Okay. Jacob, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Whiting,
Approve.
Commissioner Klazuski,
Approve.
Commissioner Hutchison,
Approve.
Commissioner Graham,
Approve.
Commissioner Davis,
Approve.
Vice Chair Riley,
Approve.
and Chair Michaelman.
Approve. Next on the agenda is CSP 24-001, Proposed Comprehensive Sign Plan for the new Findlay Hyundai dealership for 2 monument signs, location 1315 Auto Park Drive, APN 102-05-032T, property owner Cedarwood Ranch LLC, applicant Grace Signs Arizona LLC. Tammy?
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman, members of the Commission. Tammy DeWitt, Community Planner. The subject property is located on the northeast corner of Pioneer Parkway and Willow Creek Road, which is part of the Deepwell Ranch Master Plan area. See if I get this to work right. There we go. It's kind of working. No, it's not. Okay, it's not going to work today. Oh, wait, he got it to work. Thank you. So we have 2 signs proposed. This right here is a new road that's being created, the Auto Park Drive. And with that name, we kind of assume there's going to be more auto parks coming, auto dealerships. And then the other sign will be down here, more on the corner of Pioneer Parkway and Willow Creek Road. This is Willow Creek Road, and down here is Pioneer Parkway coming into, that keeps going. Here's a picture of that intersection. We do have the sign on the left, the Deepwell Ranch entry monument signs. Those were approved as part of the Deepwell Ranch Master Plan. Any other signs that come in have to comply with our sign code in the Land Development Code.
Tammy, sorry to interrupt, but how tall is that Deepwell Ranch sign? Do you know offhand, roughly?
No, we don't know. It is a lot larger than we would normally see with monument signs for entries, and with the windmill too, with the height, it's pretty tall. But those were approved as part of the overall Deepwell Ranch Master Plan. So per our Land Development Code, any freestanding monument signs, the maximum height they can be is 12 feet. And that's measured from natural grade or existing grade with these mass graded lots to the highest point. So we have 2 signs that are being proposed. The other signs are all allowed per the Land Development Code that are on the building, or directional signs. And we just have the 2, the H and the I are the 2 proposed monument signs. So the first one we have is the proposed sign along Auto Park Drive. And this one was 21 feet, almost 11 inches. And then the other sign to propose along Willow Creek Road is approximately 37 feet, almost 38 feet, just right under 38 feet, which exceeds our 12-foot height. The signs themselves on it match the 32 square feet that's allowed. It's the height that we're looking at. They did go through the FAA to get their approvals, and they did go through the Deep Well Ranch Master Plan Administrator, in which they did say that they're in compliance with the master plan. And that concludes my presentation. We did have the one stipulation. This is within our commercial corridor overlay. So per the commercial corridor overlay, the sign, any signs are to be turned off 1 hour after closing a business or by 10 p.m., whichever is later. So we add these conditions to these permits to make sure that it is reinforced. So that concludes my presentation, and the applicant is here to address any questions.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. Any questions of staff? No? Would the applicant like to make a presentation to us?
My name is Michael Donata. I'm with Science Plus. How's that? How's that? Michael Donata with Science Plus. I'm representing Findlay Hyundai. These signs were designed color-wise for the landscape, and the heights are to help its visibility on the corners. I am joined here with Ben, who's the general manager of the facility. And if you have any questions, I'm be happy to answer.
I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you hold the mic up?
Sorry, I'm not a rock star. Do you need me to repeat? The signs were designed with the color in mind to go with the landscape. The sizes are dependent on being visible on the intersection while approaching. And I'm joined here with Ben, who's the general manager of the auto park. Is there any questions?
Yes.
Questions, Tom?
Yes. How did you determine that you needed this height of the signs?
Which sign?
Based on the speed, I believe it's 55 miles an hour, being able to be seen from both directions of that intersection, and the other panels that may be used for other businesses or other dealerships.
So if another dealership gets put in there, this is going to be their sign as well? Or are they going to come back for another monument sign?
Depending on good morning, by the way, everyone. Depending on which other franchises could possibly be coming to the area, they could require other monument signs. It's all dependent on franchisee, but also that could be used for directional signs if there are other. If you guys have noticed, we did purchase a little over 20 acres. So our hope is to bring other franchises to the area. So it could be used for directional purposes. But a little backstory, I don't want to waste anyone's time, but I've been in town for about a year and a half. My sole job was to turn the store around here. And the location that we're currently at, I don't know if anybody's familiar with our location. We're right between Subaru and Toyota. When I first came to town, I really did try to embrace the community and get involved in the community. And it was astonishing to me how many places I went that didn't realize we had a Hyundai dealership here in this town again. I'll be the first to admit that when the Findlays did pull the Hyundai franchise around we've been back for 2.5 years. They pulled it around 5 years ago. It was a massive mistake. And our whole goal is to prove to the community that we're here, we're back, and we're not going to go anywhere again. So by us having this sign, we think not only would it provide, more visibility to us, because there, again, still are people that don't realize we are back in town, but with the speed on Pioneer Parkway, nobody's going to miss it. They'll be able to see us. And our whole goal is to keep the customers here local and to keep our dollars here local as well. We still do, lose some business to the Phoenix, Valley as well as to Cottonwood, and we'd like to keep all those dollars here. So we are extremely excited to get into this new building, and I wish we were already in it. Does anybody else have questions?
I have a question, Tom Davis. Your hours of operation, when would you be closing?
Our current hours of operation, which we intend to keep, we open at 7 a.m. for service, and we close at 7 p.m. for sales.
7 p.m. for sales?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Service closes at 6. Sales usually closes at 7. And, if we needed to turn those lights off earlier, we're 100% compliant to whatever we would have to do.
Okay, that was my concern. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Tom?
Good morning, Tom Hutchison.
Morning.
I, like my colleague, Mr. Riley, I was very interested in the rationale for wanting a almost 38-foot sign. When I look at the other dealerships along Willow Creek, nobody's that high. So if you could put a little meat on the bones on the rationale for why you need 38 feet. I think it's a want and not a need, and I need you to explain why you need 38 feet. We have a land development code for a reason.
Mm-hmm. No, totally understand. Yeah. One thing that I did like about this sign was that it is, a bronze and brown in color, which, fits quite well with the desert landscape. But as far as the sign being as high as it is, we looked closely at the Deep Wells Monument sign, which is right across the street. We're still waiting to hear back from Deep Wells on the exact height. It seemed everyone we called could not give us an exact height. But again, it goes back to the speed of traffic. We know Pioneer Parkway is a massive hub from people that live in Prescott Valley, driving to Prescott to work, as well as coming up Willow Creek. Our main goal is to be seen. And we think with a sign of this, we went back. Yep, there's the Deep Wells, sign across the street. Again, we're still waiting for the height on that. But we felt like a sign of this height would not only help us stand out, but with the traffic driving by, they would be able to see it and know exactly where we were at. Because there are still, unfortunately, people in this town that, no matter how much it seems we spend on advertising to keep the business local, they're still wanting to go elsewhere. So we have grown the store quite a bit since I have arrived, and we hope to continue to do so.
So what I'm hearing is that you want 38 feet. You don't really need 38 feet, but you want 38 feet so that cars going by can better see your dealership.
Correct.
Yeah.
To be honest, I have a major challenge with this height. Car dealerships are kind of hard to ignore. You're driving down the road, you see them. You drive down, we see the other Findlay ones, the Hyundai. It's visible there. Having a 60-foot or not 40-foot sign is not going to make it any more visible than it will be. You're at an intersection that there's a traffic light. Half the time, all the time, somebody's going to be stopped there and can see the dealership. The one across the road for Deep Well, my guess is between 20 and 25 feet from being by there before. Your 21-foot sign, I don't have a problem with. I have a major problem with one being basically a 3-story building to advertise there. Now, I understand you would like to have that, but I don't hear any solid reason that it's needed.
No, totally understand where you're coming from, sir.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Yeah, go ahead and make a comment.
Jim Klazuski. If our commissioners remember when Quick Trip came in here, I asked the question about how high was their canopy, and he said 22 feet. And I imagine most gas station canopies are 22 to 24 feet, just to give you a sense of how high that is. The 38-foot sign predominantly is almost between 3 and 4 stories. And I know you guys are tired of hearing this, but I'm going to give a little bit of my background prior to what I'm doing currently. I spent over 30 years in advertising and public relations working for ad agencies. I had my own for 25 years nationwide. And we always were working with companies to either enhance their brand, enhance name recognition, launch new companies where we would put a whole package together. There's never one item in a marketing ad campaign that's going to make a company successful. Findlay is known here. They've been here for a while. Their name's on the event center and PV. And I don't believe a 38-foot sign is going to predicate your success. And people are still going to want to go down in the valley to shop, because, especially within the automotive industry, because they want to be able to compare and see where they're going to get the best deal. But I really don't believe the size of a sign. And I drove all the dealership signs, every single one in the city of Prescott, to kind of get an idea of size. And this is clearly far and beyond anything that anybody else has. And again, if you want to compare it to a gas station canopy, this would be almost 18 to 20 feet higher than the canopy, just to give you a sense of how high this sign would be.
Susan, do you want to make a comment? Or you don't have to.
Well, I agree that I've got an issue with the height. And I also agree with his comment regarding dealerships. When we were searching for cars, we were pricing out cars in this area and cars in the valley. And if we could get a better deal in the valley, we went down to the valley. And we checked out Hyundai, and we knew that there was a dealership in town. Everybody, or a lot of us, have access to Google or a browser and a search machine, and we use it. And you have to be price competitive in order to compete with Phoenix.
Tom?
Just a little add a little color to what you said. There's no obstructions out there. I mean, to me, the need is just not essential. You can't miss the dealership. Period.
Tom? Jim?
Well, I guess I would like to see them reduce the size of the sign, and I don't disagree that it couldn't be bigger than the 21 foot, but I think that the 38 foot is sort of overkill. I don't think the proportions of the sign look really that good, just my opinion. The 21 foot sign looks nice, but I understand if you want a bigger one on the corner, but I can't agree with the 38 foot.
Tom?
I'm hard pressed here, and I don't like the height of the sign. However, I do like the idea of Hyundai and everybody else in town increasing their sales so that they can add to the sales tax base in the city of Prescott, particularly since we just passed 478. And so I'm torn between the aesthetics and the need to increase sales and support businesses in the town. So I wish, is there any way that you can reduce the height of that sign by 10 feet?
Well, also keep in mind,
Please put the microphone up.
as you see with the 20-footer compared to the 38-foot, it has the capability of putting other dealerships on there, which means no other signs need to be added. If you take away the panels, then other dealers are going to want their advertisements, and they're going to want a monument and so forth. So this kind of is more of a multi-tenant type. But later on, when the other dealerships start showing up, they're going to want to advertise. And the smaller we make that, the more you're going to have other signs come out.
We'll have a question for staff then. If that's the case, and if this sign were to go there, is there any way that we can enforce? Because Ben, you said earlier that there may be other monument signs and requests for monument signs. So there's no guarantee that we're going to have either we have one big sign or lots of smaller signs. And so that's what you're saying in one breath, and then in the other breath saying, well, there may be other signs as well. So I'm kind of torn between this whole thing. I'm thinking that, there's no guarantee that you could put all the other signs on this one. That ain't going to happen. And there's no guarantee. There's no way we can enforce that.
If we knew there were other dealerships that were going to go in there, we would agree that the one sign to have all the businesses on there. But when I asked if this is going to be the only business on there, I was told yes. So, the other sign, you can reduce to allow for the smaller sign for both of them if you wanted to. Say that this one could be 22, the other one could be 22 feet to match the other. And later on, as more businesses come out there, then we can look at that time, maybe one monument sign to accompany all the businesses that go out there. But we don't know at this time what's going out there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that happening. Okay.
Did you want to make a comment, sir?
At the end of the day, we just want to be a partner with the city of Prescott. So if we need to compromise, that's completely fine with us. We just want to be a good partner. We want to bring not only as much business to the Findlay Hyundai store that we can, but like I believe it was Tom that said, as well as the tax revenue. So if we do need to compromise on the sign, that's we're 100% on board with that. We just want to make sure that not only are we seen, but we are a pillar for the community as a Hyundai store where we can achieve as much business locally as we can.
Do you want to resubmit your application for review?
The commission can also recommend a different height. So if you feel comfortable with maybe with the 22 feet or for a 20-foot height for both signs, you can do that as part of your recommendation, that you'll allow both the signs to be a certain height that's different than the request, as long as it's less and not more. George kind of recalls that we believe that the Deepwell Ranch the monument sign there is 20 feet.
Personally, I think if we had both signs at 21 feet, you're going to keep in basically what's out there right now. And if there are future dealerships, that may be the same thing for them. Don't know. We have to wait and see. But it's your choice. I don't know if other commission members want to jump in, make a recommendation.
We would like a recommendation or approval now instead of having to resubmit again, because we're getting close. We want to get this into production. We want to get it done. So to resubmit and put this off even further. So if you guys could come together with a recommendation for 2025, I think that would be best interest for us.
Okay.
Jim Klazuski. I would say when I was doing my driving around that most of the dealership signs I saw were under 20 feet in the city of Prescott. So on that basis, I would recommend that both of the signs be 22 feet. I noticed the other sign is 22 feet to be consistent. And that would be a recommendation I would make to the commission, that we reduce the size of the sign to 22 feet and vote accordingly.
To be exact, it's 21 feet, 10 and 5/16 inches.
You sound like my wife.
As long as it doesn't rain out and the clay ground doesn't swell a little bit, then it becomes a shorter sign. I'll make a motion for grins and giggles.
May I just hop in for 1 second? The attorney. I just want them to kind of verify that the width will remain the same on the 38-foot height that's coming down 21 feet. So it basically looks like what's presented here, just shortened.
Yes, that's correct.
like to make a comment.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Tom Hutchison. I was about ready to make a motion to deny this whole thing, but I'm more inclined now to go with two signs identical that look about 21 feet. So, if we can put a motion together that clearly says that, I think you got a program.
No, thank you.
Tom, do you want to make a motion?
Sure. I move to recommend approval of CSP 24-001 with the following stipulations. The sign to be turned off 1 hour after closing business or by 10 p.m., whichever is later, and that the height of both signs do not exceed 22 feet.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Tom Hutchison, I second.
Before we proceed, I want to make sure the applicant is agreeable to this. We don't want to have a motion and all of a sudden you're going,
No, we do agree. Thank you, guys.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Jacob.
Commissioner Whiting,
Approve.
Commissioner Klazewski,
Approve.
Commissioner Hutchison,
I approve.
Commissioner Graham,
Approve.
Commissioner Davis,
Approve.
Vice Chair Riley,
Approve.
Chair Michaelman.
Approve. Okay. Thank you for being agreeable to work with us on this. I understand why you like it, and I hope you understand our thoughts on it too. Okay?
We appreciate you guys working with us and getting it done today.
No, thank you all. Appreciate all of you.
And we'll let you know when it
You're
goes
welcome.
to the city council. Thank you. You're welcome.
Any updates?
Yeah, we do have two updates. With your next meeting in January 9th, we have two applications. One will be an introduction to the general plan. Yesterday, our general plan committee moved it forward to public hearings. So we're going to be, I will be diligently editing it and updating it to get you the latest and greatest with all the changes that were approved yesterday. I'm hoping to get it to you before January 9th. That's the goal, but otherwise it's going to be an introduction to it, and we'll give you a hard copy there. We do have a second item on that agenda too. It's you're going to be re-seeing 500 Marina Street. They're rezoning for the apartments. They made some changes to the site plan and a number of units, so it's coming back to you. So those are the two items for January 9th.
I might recommend that we do the apartment deal on Marina Street first.
Yes,
Okay, good.
definitely. Yes.
So we don't want those poor folks have to sit through everything that we have to sit through.
Yeah, we'll have the action item first, and the second will be a discussion. And then January 30th is where we're going to have it where you can formally vote, or hopefully it'd be nice, or we'll be discussing it more and what your comments are. So we'll have more information at the January 9th meeting.
And I would recommend strongly that the commissioners go online and get the current general plan and read it, because the changes that are going to be made are not substantial. They're kind of minor, basically. And that, because it's going to take, it's a while. It's what, 135 pages or something like that?
Yeah, if you go to the planprescott.com website and you'll look under where it said there was a 60-day public comment period, if you click on that and you scroll down, we have two drafts, the two formats. One is a PDF for printable and the other ones are e-reader versions. So the idea is this is going to be an online document, very interactive, and we're really excited about how it's turning out, and we hope you agree. So.
Yeah, I strongly recommend, though, that you take the time between now and then. Don't wait for the packet to come out. Otherwise, you'll never get through it.
Right. Good point. Also, Tammy, January 30th, you said the goal is for us to move this to City Council at that point.
That would be the hopeful goal. We do have another meeting for you guys as a buffer, just if we needed it. So, but as you read it, if you have questions or need additional information, please email me before, And then so we can make sure that the other staff can be here to answer your questions or that we can get your answers. But it's a pretty thorough document. We will be publishing also the comments we received during the 60-day comment period and the comments from city staff of how we can address it or if we can address them. So we'll also have that on the website, and I'll let you know when all that is available to see. It's just me updating all of it next couple weeks.
It is an exciting read.
It is.
No, it's not. That's why I say get ahead of it. You'll fall asleep reading some of it.
I'll email you guys the links to the draft so you'll have it.
As a matter of notice, I will not be here for the 9th meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. If everything is it, we will adjourn.